the Commander's schedule and our reactions and thoughts about it right now here on Ref the District. 17-0, baby. Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Ref the District. The Washington Commander's schedule is out, and we're going to give you our thoughts on it right now. And Trev, you've had a busy night, so this is really the first time you're looking at this schedule. What do you think?
Well, yeah, I saw the video last night, and so then, of course, I just forgot all the teams we played for the most part outside the division. But as I'm looking at it right now, I'm excited. We're seeing some new faces come to town. We're going to see some new faces in their places, too. So, I mean, I'm excited. Different opponents, not the same old that we usually have. So, yeah, it should be an interesting season.
So smart by the NFL to do that. So you do get to see not the same players every time in your city. They mix it up pretty well. What I think is most interesting about this, the schedule seems to be laid out pretty nicely for the Commanders because you don't have anything that you look at and you say, that's crazy. What is the NFL doing? Because you don't have any more than 2 games in a row on the road. You don't even have 2 at home until you get to the very end. The bye week, week 14, it's a little late. I get that because you have to go 13 weeks in a row beating each other up until you finally get some time off. So that's a little bit. But they play the one primetime game on Thursday, the week before the short week. Yeah, they're playing in Philly. So you're just right up the road. So it's not a long West Coaster or anything. And then the Thanksgiving Day game, you're playing the week before at home. So that sets up really well for them. And then the last thing is that they don't play any games this year against a team that's coming off a bye.
That right there is key, right? Because it's like you can the short weeks, but not having to play somebody off a bye is really good. So they do have the 3 back-to-back. So the color diagram here, gold is away and burgundy is home. The week 14 bye. I'm a fan of late buys. I think it always is going to just matter in the season how the season's going, right? Sometimes you do need an early buy, and sometimes you need a mid buy, and sometimes a late buy works. But personally, like if you just think of everything going well for the team, and that means they're healthy but beat up, like that late buy is perfect. It refreshes you and then gets you into that playoff push. But I mean, obviously something can happen in the middle of the season where you're like, this would be a great time for the buy. And so, but going into a season, I personally like late buys.
13 weeks in a row though. That's a lot. That's a lot of ball playing.
It is.
To get some time off.
So, but I don't think, again, I think that's a good buy just because again, it's late in the season. So that way rest up, get ready for that playoff push. So, you mentioned there are the back-to-back away games, only the one back-to-back home game. That's to close out the season. That's against a pretty powerful duo there in San Francisco and Dallas. So that one's going to be tricky. Another kind of stretch there, that might be complicated is really just that Jets, San Fran, and Dallas. But I mean, is there any other stretch that you can see, Trev, that you're worried about?
I was just looking that after our bye week, that 4 games, it's like a gauntlet. And I'm saying, if everybody's healthy, the Rams, Matthew Stafford's back, Cooper Kupp is still there. I don't know anybody like what else they made, and Sean McVay. So you have to just never count them out. Yeah, Aaron Donald, yes. Then we go on the day before Christmas. We have a chance to ruin our Christmas by going to Aaron Rodgers' new home with his weapons, his new shiny toys, up there in the cold. In New York. Then we go all the way from the cold across the country to the warmth in California with either Brock Purdy or Sam Darnold or whoever knows. Whoever. Kyle Shanahan again. And then we ended at home with, we're at home. That's right.
San Fran is here.
Yeah, they come to us. But still, yeah. And then we end the season with Dallas. And that's a division arch rival from back in the day. So
I think you're kind of overlooking the 3 before the bye also. You got Giants, Cowboys, Dolphins. Playoff.
Oh, true. Yeah, Dolphins, if 2 was there, maybe. Yeah. That's a real, hypothetical.
Last 7.
Yeah, so like if we get to the bye and we have to win these next 4 games to get in, whoo!
I mean, if you're considering the Giants there, I would probably go up to week 7. I mean, there's a reason why Washington has one of the harder schedules based off of last year, right? When you're talking about win percentage. I mean, you can go as far back as week 7, go Giants, Eagles, Patriots, Seahawks, Giants, Cowboys, and then the Dolphins. Those are all playoff teams.
Yes.
Well, the Patriots, I don't think made it last year.
Patriots didn't make, but still, you're right.
But still, it's Bill Belichick and
exactly.
You know,
go to week 7 and go all the way down, and you've got a playoff team every week except for the Patriots, a playoff team from last year.
The Rams didn't make it last year.
Yeah, Rams didn't either.
Oh, okay, Rams. Right, but the year before they were Super Bowl champs, right? Or
you're right. It was the year before.
That's a gauntlet. Yo,
it is.
And remember last year they had like the 32nd ranked schedule. They had the easiest schedule at the start of the year.
Right.
Mostly based on they were playing the Giants
division. Well, yeah, the Easts, who had all losing records the year before.
Right. So, but by the time you got to the end of the year, it was like the 5th hardest schedule because of the Giants and the Cowboys and the Eagles who did so well. So you never know how it's going to end up compared to where it starts. But this is starting with a very, very difficult schedule, especially the second half.
Yeah, the second half looks a little brutal. So again, Washington's going to have to start off strong and hope that they can continue. Will they be able to do that? Well, we're going to go through game by game here and make our determination. I'm going to give you wins, losses this early, which is just ludicrous. Washington does start off with the Browns, Ravens, and Bengals for preseason games. That's your warm-up slate. Any thoughts on those before we get to the week 1?
When are we gonna play the Ravens in the regular season? Because they seem like just a preseason favorite every preseason.
Yeah,
it's because they're local, so it keeps the team local. A lot of teams that have somebody that close will do that.
The Bengals too.
When did we last play? Didn't we just play
Last time I remember was when Haloti Nada busted up RG3's knee.
Come on, guys. That wasn't that long ago. When's the last time we played the Steelers? It was like 3 years ago, I think.
We beat them when they were 11-0 COVID season to go to the playoffs.
Yeah,
11-0. The Steelers?
I don't know if that was a
so 2020.
It was a regular season.
That was regular season.
I don't know if we were playing that division. Were we playing?
It was because that was 7-9. That was before the rando because the Bills were our first one. Browns were last year. So the 2020 season is the last time we played the Ravens to answer that question.
Okay.
But it does seem like we always play
2012. It feels like we always play them.
Yeah.
In the preseason.
Yeah, again, it's a local favorite, and then the Ravens fans all crowd the stadium, and it's all just fun and games for people.
Anthony Brown Jr., third stringer, lighting us up. Remember who was the receiver that lit us up in the preseason? Robinson.
Someone like
that. Remember
him
and Anthony Brown had like 2 long touchdowns, and we were all like, "Oh my God, Robinson's going to be amazing."
Anthony Brown's going to start in place of Lamar Jackson.
Right.
So the preseason there, that's the August 21st game is Baltimore, and the Bengals' date to be determined. I was looking to see if I couldn't figure out the other date in there, but
they don't have the dates for the other 2.
We went to that Bengals preseason game. Brandon Allen was the quarterback.
Yeah, and remember Jamar Chase was dropping everything,
and we were like, "Oh, he's gonna be a bust."
And then this regular season comes along and he catches every single thing thrown his way
for 1,000,000 yards.
Because he was dropping everything.
He really was.
We were like, whoa.
He just needed Joe Burrow to put the thing on it.
All right, let's get into week 1. No preseason thoughts here.
Yes,
week 1, September 10th, a 1 p.m. game. Stoner loves his 1 p.m. games against the Arizona Cardinals. Colt McCoy projected to be the starter with Kyler Murray being out there, and Sam Howell apparently Colt McCoy 2.0.
Right.
So what are your thoughts here opening week, Trev?
Well, no Kyler Murray, no more JJ Watt. Dub.
All right, I'm marking you down for a dub.
W.
It's going to be, I'm telling you right now, that week 1 is going to be, what do the kids say? Lit.
Yes.
It is going to be on fire.
Just like how we started with at FedEx. Oh, yes.
It's going to be a movie. Again, another thing.
There you go.
Right? Because you're going to have the new owner,
Stoner's
most likely, already in place.
Yes.
You're going to have the Sam Howell effect. You might have the Hard Knocks effect. At week 1 at home,
bro,
against a terrible team.
Yep.
The place, I predict, it's going to be a sellout. You're not Cardinals fans aren't known for traveling.
No, they ain't come. No, they ain't coming to FedEx.
It's going to be a movie, and they're going to get a dub.
Well, it's going to be 3 for 3 here.
Yeah.
I just think Arizona, new coach, not having their key, QB. So I just don't know that they've improved that much since last year. Washington should walk away with a victory here. Hopefully it is as exciting as you think.
It will be, trust me, especially after a 3-0 preseason.
Oh, okay. We bringing back Steve Spurrier here. We're going to, all right, week 2, going to Denver, 425 game. Stoner, September 17th. Stoner, outside of it being a 425 game, what do you think?
Denver's going to be vastly improved this year. I know everybody thinks Russell Wilson is washed. I don't. I think he's going to have a big comeback season, especially with Sean Payton there now as his head coach. That's tough. Go out west, game 2. Russell, I'm going to go loss here. They're going to lose that game in Denver. Denver's a playoff team this year, I think.
Ooh.
So I'm going
big prediction there. How about you, Trev? What are you thinking here for the Denver Broncos early in the season, week 2?
I think we're going to come away with a dub. It's a little bit of a shock to the world. Sean Payton, new head coach. Chemistry with Russell Wilson might not be quite where it needs to be right there, week 2. I mean, I don't care about practice OTAs. Nothing compares to game situations. You never know. Our defensive line's amazing. Russell Wilson ran for his life last year. I don't think they did anything to improve offensive line that made any waves in the news. So I think we're going to upset the Denver Broncos and be 2-0 at this point after.
This is another QB that a lot of people are like Sam Howell could be, a version of is Russell Wilson, young Russ though. And that would be amazing if he's young Russ, because that would mean Washington would win this game. And I just think we're going to see old Russ kind of turn back the clock and be a little bit of young Russ in this and cause some problems for Washington. Also, missed opportunity here to be at 420 instead of 425 there at Mile High. But, what do I know?
Is it Mile High still?
Yeah, it's still Mile High.
It's called like Advent Field or something, but I think it's something like Advent Field at Mile High.
This is like Chicago with the Sears Tower, though. It's never not going to be Mile High. But
that's right.
Missed opportunity there by the schedule makers that Stoner was praising earlier. But I'm going to put this down as a loss for Washington. I think they'll be riding high after the Arizona victory, and Russell Wilson is not going to be the toilet factory that he was last year. I remember, you guys remember that they had the tracker for he had like how many bathrooms he has in the house versus how many touchdowns. And it wasn't until like week 13 that he finally surpassed that. We're not going to have that same issue this year for Russell Wilson. Week 3, Buffalo Bills coming to town. Those fans do travel.
Yes.
So expect a lot of broken tables there at FedEx. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. This is a good team. Maybe not Super Bowl favorites like they were the year before, just because a lot of people think that there might be some cracks in the armor. And for me, I don't think there's enough cracks for Washington to win this one. I'm going to put this one down as a loss. Trev, what are you thinking?
I think we're an improved team from last year, but we're not quite ready to ball and hang out with the big dogs and the Buffalo Bills. They're a great regular season team. Postseason, not so much. They usually come out swinging 8-0, 10-0. You know how it is. And they're coming here. It's going to probably feel like a a little more of a Buffalo home game probably since they travel so well, and they probably already got the tickets ready to go. So Josh Allen, a loss from us, 2-1.
All right. Well, everything you guys said, I'm a Josh Allen guy. Mm-hmm. And I think for the third year in a row, I'm going to predict Buffalo to win the Super Bowl. So I don't think a Super Bowl contender is going to come in here and lay an egg in week 3.
Right.
So I like Buffalo in this game, even though it's at FedEx. Buffalo.
Dang, so we 1-2 right now for you guys.
Yeah, both of us are at 1-2. Is that going to trend upwards or downwards here in week 4, October 1st, 1 p.m. game against the Eagles? Really early in the season. In fact, both of these Eagle games, didn't mention this before, my kind of schedule quirks, is the Eagles are both in October.
Mm-hmm.
Which I find interesting. Are we going to win the first meeting of these? This is at Philadelphia. Stoner, what do you think?
I mean, look, they are a fantastic team. Would they lose 2 games in the regular season last year? Maybe it was 3. I can't remember. Went all the way to the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts is only improving. They lost some off of their defense, but they reloaded at the defensive tackle position. Man, that's a scary team. That's a scary, scary, scary team. Sorry, go on the road at the Link or whatever it's called now.
Yeah, you're right.
That's a loss, unfortunately.
Ooh.
Philadelphia is a good football team.
Trev, you seem to think that this might go the other way. So why is that?
Last time I checked, we had a quarterback that was on a sister's couch for a few minutes, and we went to the Link and beat this Philadelphia team that was undefeated at the time. Okay. Our quarterback
pretty handedly too. It was pretty. Yeah.
Our quarterback situation has improved. Say what you want. Sam Howell is a better quarterback than Heineke. Philadelphia lost their offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator.
Sure did.
It's a brand new system up there. Probably still catered to Jalen, but it's a brand new system up there. Week 4, still trying to get out the kinks.
They haven't figured it out in 2 months. They haven't figured it out.
Bro, game situations are different than practice.
All right.
Ain't nobody getting hit in practice. We get hit in the games.
Okay.
They loaded up in the draft. Got everybody from Georgia. That don't scare me.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to win. We are 3-1.
Wow.
Right.
You and London Fletcher are almost in line here. London Fletcher, I don't know if you guys saw that video, but he was predicting a lot of dubs for Washington as well.
12-5.
Yeah, 12-5 was his finish, which we'd be so over the moon.
Oh,
so over the moon for a 12-5 season. Unfortunately, one of these losses is coming right here. I just still think Philadelphia is a good team. I do think that this game's going to be a little bit closer than the first meeting from last year. But so Washington is going to be able to keep close. Philadelphia is a good team. They're reloaded, and I think that they've got the pieces again to be a contender. And Washington is still going to be thinking things through. So now this does put Washington at 1-3, which is very nearly close.
I mean, what y'all do? Our bias until week 14, y'all. What are you doing?
This puts us near that talk where Stoner and I have been pushing. Like, if it's 1-4, do you make the switch to the Jacoby Brissett, or is this where Ron Rivera is going to get fired? Well, they're going to be hosting the Bears on Thursday night, October 5th at 8:15. And week 5, can they avoid going 1-4, Stoner?
I'm shocked that the schedule makers looked at last year's Thursday night game against the Bears and said, let's run it back. What was that score?
That's fair. 12-9 or something. Yeah, 12-7.
I was giving them 19-12 or something. 12-7. They said, let's do that again. Let's have the Bears and Commanders on a Thursday night. Look, as much as I love Josh Allen as a quarterback, I love Justin Fields. And Justin Fields is starting to get some weapons now. This is going to be his 3rd year in the league. This is where these guys usually step up. Sorry. I got Chicago winning that game. I got a
wow.
I think Chicago's going to be vastly improved.
Stoner has them at 1-4 to start the season. Trev, you have the opposite of that right now. You have them at 3-1.
I'm going 4-1 here.
4-1.
Sure.
Come on, Stoner. Justin Fields is nice, but our defense got better. We didn't lose nobody, but who? Cole Holcomb? See ya. We'll be fine.
Right.
Okay.
Bobby McCain.
See ya. Okay. So we'll be fine.
You're right. But look, Justin Fields pretty much waxed him last year, if not for some weird play calling and some bad breaks, no receivers. He worked Washington last year.
But we won.
You're
can
right.
work all you want.
You're right. Benjamin St. Juste, goal line, knocked down on 4th down.
Yeah. So it's a dub, man. Ron Rivera ain't gonna lose his job against his former team.
I'm going with a dub here as well. I just don't. I don't believe in the Bears as far as a full team. Like I don't think they've turned it around just yet. Justin Fields is electric. He's exciting to watch. I think that he can potentially turn the corner as a passer this year. But Washington's defense, like you said, Trev, is locked and loaded, and they're going to be doing just fine. So now if Washington's offense can match, I think this is going to be a victory for the Burgundy and Gold.
Fair enough.
Yeah, 4-1, baby. You 2-4, Nathan?
I'm 2-3. 2-3.
Yeah. 2-3. And Stoner's calling for somebody's job, either Sam Howell or Ron.
Yeah.
One of them.
Yeah. I think even if they're at that point, if Stoner's correct at 1-4, I don't think it's going to be the QB play that's been the problem. I think that they're going to get decent QB play, even in my 2-3 scenario, which I'm going to go all the way to 3-3 here as we go down to Atlanta on October 15th. Atlanta is still just a team that's kind of trying to find their way. They don't have any pieces. The QB situation is still kind of a question mark because they've got just young guys there, and so it's just not something that I think that Washington can afford to lose and will not lose. So how about you there, Stoner?
Yeah, Atlanta stinks. They're a bad team, especially at the quarterback position. When Taylor Heineke's your backup, we know how that show turns out, right? So he may be playing in this game because I'm not a believer in Desmond Ridder either. I think they're just kind of going through the motions to see what happens in 2024. So I think Jacoby Brissett and the Commanders get a win in Atlanta.
All right, Trev.
You heard me. Jacoby Brissett will be the quarterback against Atlanta. And not because of injury.
In your season. In my season over here at 4-1, Sam will lead us to the Georgia Dome or Metrodome, whatever it's called now in Atlanta.
Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah. Get the dub. I don't believe in Desmond Ridder either. But if it is Taylor Heineke, he does have Bijan Robinson. He does have Kyle Pitts. He does have Drake London. He does have that other stud running back what's his name? Algier, yeah. So it could be an exciting game, probably one that we should walk in and be like, let's just blow them out. But knowing us, we'll stoop down to their level. It'll be neck and neck. And we'll come out with a W, though, because I just don't believe in Desmond Ridder or Taylor Heineke. But it will be interesting. They don't have a defense. But actually, they do. They made some moves.
Yeah, their defense is okay. They have a running game. I mean, this is not going to be a walk in the park. No game ever is for Washington. This is just a game that they can't afford to lose, and they won't lose. And yeah, so it is a different game. For me, they're coming 3-3. Going into week 7 there against the Giants on October 22nd. Trev, a 1 p.m. game against our rivals. It is in New Jersey.
Yeah.
So what do you think against the Giants? First game out.
First game against them. We'll probably mess around and lay an egg in New York. We'll go in there with this 5-1 record in my season. You know how we do. And we'll go in there and just mess around and fumble the game away and lose in a game that we shouldn't lose because we outplayed them. But at the end, we made some costly mistakes and lost. So we're now 5-2.
Stoner, they were unable to get a dub against this team last year, going 0-1-1 down the stretch where they needed one victory to get into the playoffs. Do they avenge themselves this season?
This is Ron's blueprint year after year after year. They start off, in my scenario, 1-4, and the world is falling apart around this team, and then Ron rallies them. So now he's changed quarterbacks. He's got Jacoby Brissett in there, and now he's going to start winning some games because that's what he does, and he starts getting our hopes up. So they're going to go into New York, and they're going to win their second game in a row with Jacoby Brissett leading the team and Sam Howell watching on the sidelines, thinking, I blew it. And then Jacoby and Ron are going to lead them to another victory. So I've got them going into New York and winning.
I don't like Stoner season. I won't be going to any of those games.
Stoner season.
It's typical. It's typical Commanders. It's typical Ron Rivera. So why are we thinking everything's going to be different?
Because new ownership's going to be in there, buddy.
Yeah, how's that new owner doing, by the way, in the NHL and NBA? The NHL team just got knocked out of the playoffs, and the Sixers are about to get knocked out.
That's because all y'all got on Twitter and was talking his praises. Oh, look, he's a great owner. Championship, second round here, second round there. And it's like, okay.
And then they gone. By this time Sunday, he's not going to have any teams playing.
Well, hopefully he just gets a football team here in DC to the playoffs, because we haven't seen that on a consistent basis. But we're getting back to the schedule here. The Giants are always a tough out for Washington. This one's going to be at the Giants. They, again, like I mentioned, they were unable to get one victory and from the team last year. Daniel Jones is, pretty good against Washington, even though I've broken down that plenty of times where he's not just vanilla Vic, as people like to call him. But this is a game I think Washington loses. I think that they just struggle. I like the coaching out there with the Giants, and I think that they have defensive pieces to kind of hold Washington at bay. So going to take the Giants there, which is rough going into week 8, the end of October 29th, 1 p.m. game against the Eagles, another division. I so far have had them lose both their division games, and you really need to not go 2-4 in the division to make the playoffs. So now they've got this home game against the Eagles, and they've got to win this one. They have to win this one. I don't think they do, though. I think that they get swept by the Eagles and start the season 0-3 against their division foes, which is just, again, not where you want to be as far as that's concerned. And I don't know, Stoner, do you see it any different?
Jacoby Brissett, Ron Rivera have got this team rolling. Middle of the season, this is their winning streak that they like to have. So I've got them at home against Philly winning this game. They're not going to go winless against the division. They're going to have some games they surprise some teams, and they're going to lose some that they're not supposed to. This is one of those games where they win at home against Philly. FedEx is going to put up extra security so gates don't fall on opposing quarterbacks.
Some zip ties again.
Yeah, we got extra strength zip ties. So I got them getting a W against Philly. They're rolling right now. This is typical. Middle of the season, put on a winning streak, get everybody's hopes back up.
They did surprise a lot of people last year with the victory, as Trev, you mentioned. They surprised them. Is there going to be a surprise here at home?
Nah, we're gonna lose. We always lose to them at home. Their fans are gonna be mad because we walked in their trap and took over their trap back in week 4. So they're gonna do the same thing to us. We're now 5-3.
Okay.
I've got them 4-4, so I'm right there.
There you go,
right behind you, Trev.
Yeah. What am I at right now?
You're at 3-5.
3-5.
Who's your quarterback, Nathan? You still with Sam Howell right now?
With Sam Howell.
Still
with Sam Howell.
That a baby.
Yeah. All right. Now it's November 5th, week 9, 1 p.m. game against Bill Belichick in New England here. Trev, do we get one against BB?
Yeah, man. We're 6-3. He's ain't got it no more. This is the season where it's finally going to be like, oh, you definitely needed Tom Brady and his weapons too. No offense. You're a defensive-minded coach. You've always had great defenses, but once Tom Brady left, that offense has been poopy. And they're not going to be able to score against us with our high-caliber defense, so we get that dub, 6-3.
Christian Gonzalez, who Washington had a chance to draft, but he was drafted by New England right after. He's going to have 2 picks against Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett gets benched and brings Sam Howell back in. Sam Howell takes him down the field for a win in Boston. So I've got Washington winning this game against.
I love how he's trying to get back in the good graces of the Howlers after sidelining him early in the season. Be like, no, he's going to come back and win this game. I don't know that he's going to need a comeback. I just think that Washington's going to win this one. This is where Stoner's talking about, right? Like middle of the season, Washington's maybe kind of in trouble. Are they going to be able to make the playoffs? And Ron Rivera gets the team rallied, and they just go to town here and win one in the Northeast, which is important as they're going from the Northeast to the Northwest in Week 10, November 12th, 4:25 game against the Seattle Seahawks. And Geno Smith and this team that a lot of people were surprised with last year. Are the Seahawks able to continue a good run and win here against Washington at home, Trev?
They drafted that kid at Ohio State, in Jackson Njigba, the receiver, to add with Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf.
Scary.
Geno got them to the playoffs last year. Or did he get to the playoffs?
Yeah, they got to the playoffs.
Okay. Sure.
Got the playoffs and won a game against the Giants, right?
Okay, yeah, that's right. Then got paid like one after that this past offseason. But I think, I'm not saying he is the person, but he got paid. He's not going to play like he got paid. So those weapons he's got, he's not going to be able to. He's going to throw 3 picks against our secondary, and we're going to win inside of the 12s in Seattle.
Yeah, difficult place to win there in Seattle. Stoner, are you continuing the uphill climb for Washington, or do they falter here?
Well, after losing 4 in a row early, now they've won 4 in a row. They're going to go out there, and Emmanuel Forbes, after hearing all that talk about Gonzalez getting those 2 picks the week before, and maybe they should have drafted Gonzalez instead of Forbes, he's going to have his revenge game. And he's going to go out there, and he's going to get 2 picks against Geno Smith. However, it's going to be tough to go out and win out there with those receivers that you just talked about, Trev. So I think this is where after our hopes are up. We're 4 and 5. I think I have them.
Yeah.
Or 5 and whatever I have them. This is where it starts to go back downhill again. Because again, this is what happens. So I've got them going out there and losing.
So no love for Geno Smith here. 2 picks by Stoner. Trev, you thinking that he's gonna take a step back after getting paid?
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, guys. I think that Geno Smith is gonna return to being Geno Smith. I think that he had a career year last year. I do think that he can be a QB1 in this league, but I don't think that he's a top tier QB. And Washington is going to make them, pay for their mistakes there in Seattle, and Washington's going to win one on the road.
Let's go.
So, and now they're coming home against the Giants, November 19th, 1 p.m. game. Stoner, you love those 1 p.m. games. It's a home game against a division rival. I have them 0-3 so far. You have them 1-2.
I think.
And Trev has them 2-1. Trev, will stick with you. Do you think they win against the Giants at home in Week 11?
Yeah, we do. It's about time. It's getting closer to the holidays, and we're at home against a division rival. We fumbled the ball back there during Halloween against them, but we're gonna right the ship in November and go 8-3 right now. Daniel Jones is gonna be Daniel Jones by the time he comes around to Week 11. So
fair. That's fair. Daniel Jones stinks. So does Jake Fromm, and Jake Fromm might be in this game for Washington. So it's going to be a stinker of a game, just like they had last year. They're going to tie. We're going to have another tie. So let's go right there. T-I-E.
I need you to put money on like right now. I need you to put some money on that. And of course he is.
Giants.
Of course he is. No, that's not going to be a tie. I'm the fence setter here, and I'm not going to be for this one. I think Washington gets their first division win against the Giants at home. Again, they're kind of in this upward trend here, and in the middle of the season, trying to get back into playoff contention, and they are going to do so against the Giants.
Ooh, I'm 2-2 in division right now.
Yeah, right now, Trev, you're 8-3.
Yeah, baby.
Nathan is 6-5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, you're 6-5, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm 5-5-1.
Of course,
so that's where we are right now. I mean, Trev's very optimistic.
He is perennially the most optimistic out of all of us here, and it is gobble time. Thanksgiving game 4:30 on November 23rd. Trev going to Dallas. 9-3, not even a hesitation.
9-3 next.
Wow. Come on, Trev.
We eating turkey legs at the end of the game.
Celebrating Thanksgiving. Which, by the way, this is a game that because we'll be in Oklahoma, Jazzy EP has already been looking at tickets, and they're ridiculous, absolutely asinine.
Yeah.
Stoner.
Yeah, I don't like this. I am, for whatever reason. I don't know why. I mean, regular season, Cowboys are almost always good in the regular season. So I believe in Dak and this team. So it's going to be tough to go out there on Thanksgiving and beat Dallas. So Dallas gets the win. Washington loses this one.
You know,
it's a tough one.
It is a tough one because I want to celebrate on Thanksgiving. I want it to be, if I'm there, I definitely want it to be a good experience. It is just kind of like you mentioned, Stoner. Dallas tends to be pretty good during the season. Washington historically hasn't been very good on Thanksgiving. I would love nothing more than to be, that 2012 Thanksgiving game or a couple of years ago where we trounced Dallas back to back, swept them. I just don't think it's going to happen here, and Washington's going to fall to 1-4 in the division. It's rough, but I just don't see Dallas losing this game, and our Thanksgiving is going to need a little bit of liquor to kind of get over the sting of this loss. So, but we are coming back home, 1 p.m. game, December 3rd against the Miami Dolphins. And this is a tough team to figure out. Tua's had some health issues. Mike McDonald seems like he's a good coach, but kind of faltered down the stretch there. So what do you think, Trev, with the Miami Dolphins coming to town here on December 3rd?
Yeah, I mean, we could be facing Skylar Thompson by week 13. Either due to quarterback injury or they're not going to make the playoffs and they're just benching Tua for safety reasons too as well because they're not going anywhere. And it's in the cold, early afternoon in the cold too. So that's from Miami to DC, December. We get that win. We're now 10-3.
Jesus.
Hey,
juggernaut.
Dream season for Washington.
Hold on.
Yeah, I think Miami stinks. I think they're a little bit overrated. They've got some good players, but their receivers usually have trouble staying healthy with those soft tissue injuries. And of course, Tua. We all know about Tua. He won't even be playing that week. It will be a Skylar Thompson or something. I think Washington gets the win against Miami. I'm not a believer in Miami, even though they made the playoffs last year. Not a believer.
Yeah, I'm gonna take this W against Miami. Like you said, Trev, they're coming up into what should be colder weather than Miami. Washington should have a good run game and be able to minimize those passing threats. And Washington's going to take this victory as they lead into the Week 14 bye. I like the bye. Stoner, you didn't like the late bye. Trev, what were your thoughts on the Week 14 bye?
Well, since we're 10-3, I'm loving it. But
but you're rolling.
Realistically,
1, 2, 3. You got 5 in a row, Trev. They're rolling and taking the week off.
Yeah. It's interesting. It is kind of late, but if we do have a playoff push scenario, it comes at a great time to regroup, rest, relax, get your mind right, come back focused, and try to make the playoffs. But if we're coasting like me right now, it is what it is. I don't care. So
10-3, it's going to be hard to miss the playoffs at that point at the bye week. Stoner, what did you have them at?
Good question. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6-1.
6-1, and what am I? 7-6 right now, or 6-7?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got them at 7.
7-6.
Yep, you got them at 7-6.
All right. So in playoff contention, probably Washington right there at the bye week. We hope that is the case. Here coming off the bye week, they are headed over to LA, a 4:05 game on December 17th. And I just don't believe LA has recovered yet from their Super Bowl. I think that they, even with Stafford potentially coming back, Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald, I just don't know that they have a full team still. They've traded away a lot of their first round picks. They've had to trade away some of their key players because they weren't able to pay everybody. And so this is a game, I think Washington coming off of the bye with rested, some time to prep and everything, can get the W, going to 8-6 here for me. Stoner, what do you think? The Rams in LA.
I should have looked up what Ron Rivera's record is after the bye, but I
it's
don't
not
know.
Great, by the way.
Yeah, I don't think it's that great. And you're going out to LA. I really have to think about this. It's a week before Christmas. It's warm. I don't like the feel of it. That's my tingle. I just don't like the feel of this game out there. I'm gonna say they're gonna lose this game.
Oof. All right, Trev, we're 1-1 here on Ref the District with this LA game. I got the W. He's got the L. What side are you on?
I'm gonna go with the L side. We're riding high into the bye.
Lone wolf here.
We're going to come out flat after the bye, like we always do under Ron Rivera. You know, all these pregame speeches, they don't work. We just come out flat. And I think that we're going to underestimate based off their season last year and just, get punched in the mouth early and not be able to recover because Matthew Stafford's been there, Sam Howell, or Jacoby Brissett, whoever's playing hasn't been there really. So we take an L. We're now 10-4.
Okay, 10-4.
Cross-country flight, it's cold.
Yeah, it is headed there. And good point there, because this is back-to-back away games here as they go to LA. Now they're coming back to the Jets. That is an away game, right?
Yeah, it is an away game. No, you got it right.
It just feels weird to go from coast to coast there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you're coming home and then your away game is just up the street, really, to New York. It's not that far. It's not like you got to go back out west again.
Supposed to be against Aaron Rodgers and the new Jets and excitement. And there's Jets have like 6 primetime games. This isn't one of them. It's a 1 p.m., but it is a Christmas Eve game. We've had our Thanksgiving ruined in my schedule. Are we going to have Christmas ruined, Trev?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I know we beat Aaron Rodgers, but that's when he was back in Green Bay for 18 years. And the past few seasons, he didn't have the weapons that he normally had when he was of late. Yeah, he had 2 back-to-back MVPs, but you know what I mean. He's going there with the offensive rookie of the year and defensive rookie of the year. By now, they're probably clicking on all cylinders. I mean, we've seen Aaron Rodgers, a young talent, before. We're going to take the L, man. Sam Howell, I just don't think he can outduel Aaron Rodgers this time. I just don't.
There's way, way, way too much hype for this Jets team. There's way too much. You just said they got
they're underdogs in like the first and like 4 of their first like 6 games or something like that.
There's too much hype for this team with Aaron Rodgers and everything that Trev just said. 6 primetime games. The world loves Aaron Rodgers. Everything is revolving around him. It's gonna fall apart because it's the Jets. They stink. They'll always stink. They're never gonna be a good organization. We're going to go up to New York and we're going to put a whooping on them like a 41-7 game up there in the Meadowlands or whatever that place is called.
Does that put us with a winning record for you right now?
I think I'm right at even again.
Right at even again?
7-1.
I mean, if they put that kind of beat down, you have to be feeling good with those last 2 games there. So yeah, trying to charge into the playoffs. This one's a toss-up, really. Like, mentioned Aaron Rodgers, but I do think the Jets are a little overhyped, but this is coming, transferring from one coast to the other coast. This is, I just don't know where to put this game. I feel like they're going to get a win against either the Jets or San Francisco. I'm going to go with the loss here against the Jets. I do think that they have some good defensive pieces out there to kind of keep this as a closer game than what Stoner had presented. But I think that Aaron Rodgers' late form comes back to being kind of that MVP caliber player he can be. Always seems to give Washington fits, even when we beat his teams. Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to go with a loss here for the Burgundy and Gold. Unfortunately, it means both my holidays have been ruined in my schedule.
Right?
That's not
a lot
great.
of liquor.
That is. Well, there might be a lot of liquor needed on December 31st as we host a 1 p.m. game against the San Francisco 49ers. They're coming across the coast, and this is going to be an early game for them as they're actually going to be playing. Their body clock is what? Like it would be a 10 o'clock game in the morning? Yeah. So Stoner, San Francisco, Trey Lance, Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold. This is Kyle Shanahan and Deebo Samuel. What's going to happen in this game here on New Year's Eve?
Zero, and I mean zero chance Kyle Shanahan comes back to DC and takes a loss. Zero chance of that. There's no way he's going to let his team do that. I'm a believer in the organization, the culture that they have around that entire organization. It almost doesn't matter who's playing quarterback. They're just always prepared, well-coached team. So I got them coming in here and giving Washington a loss against San Fran at home. Sorry.
Trev, San Francisco, you don't know the quarterback. We know the coach. We know they have offensive weapons. We know they have defensive weapons. Washington able to sneak a victory here at the end of the season?
Yeah. Brock Purdy that was his career, was last year. That was it.
That was it?
Yeah, we figured him out. He was Mr. Relevant for a reason. He just caught a hot streak last year, and coming back from that injury, is he going to have the same arm as he did when he went on that streak last year?
Didn't really have arm strength to begin with.
Right, but it's even worse now or better. You never know. It's a funny injury. So we get that dub. We are now 11 and 4?
11 and 5. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, 11 and 5 with one game left.
Yes, 11 and 5.
Well, I'd said we can win one of these games against either the Jets or San Francisco. I gave it a loss against the Jets. I'm going to give it the W here against San Francisco. I understand all the Kyle Shanahan hype and all the hatred, and he's not coming here and losing. I just think that this is going to be a slugfest type game. Someone's going to win 24-21, and I think it's going to be Washington coming out on top for that. So we'll replay this back when when we get to that week there. But as we head into the final game of the season, obviously Trev's got us in the playoffs at 11 and 5. So they don't even need probably this victory at this point. They're probably playing for seeding, maybe against Philadelphia for the NFC East crown and hosting a game, or maybe just taking a wild card spot. Stoner, you're currently at
7-8-1.
7-8-1.
Oh my God.
Which means they need a victory here just to end out at 500. Probably not in the playoff hunt at that point.
Probably not in the last game, but maybe before that.
Yeah, probably out of the playoff. And then I have them at what, 9 and 7? 9
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 and 7.
Yeah, at 9 and 7 here. So probably needing a victory to secure a spot in the playoffs, and a loss maybe doesn't kick them out, but it would make things dicey. So Stoner, no playoffs for your Washington Commanders in the schedule that you laid out, but do they at least finish on a strong note against Dallas?
Well, here's what's going to happen. We've already seen Sam Howell. We've seen Jacoby Brissett. We even saw Jake Fromm for one game against the Giants because the other two were injured. This is towards the end. You've got a new owner. You can't make the playoffs. You're trying to lose so that you can get a little bit better position. They're going to play Tim Demarat, the rookie, the fourth quarterback that they're going to play this year. Interim head coach Jack Del Rio is going to throw Demarat in
EB.
there. No, it's not going to be EB. It's going to be Del Rio, who has the experience as an interim head coach. Going to throw him in there to basically tank the game so they can get a little bit better draft position. However, Tim Demaret kind of surprises the Cowboys a little bit with 2 first-half touchdowns, but then he throws 4 second-half interceptions. And the Cowboys, who need the game for home field advantage in the playoffs and to win the division, they come into Washington and give us a beatdown in the second half. Loss for Washington.
Ouch. Trev, you resting your starters in your situation there? Are we going to see?
I mean, if we're playing to host a game, it doesn't really bother me personally because until we get like some true stadium attendance and it'll affect the game, I'm not worried about. And fans, opposing fans stop coming and make our stadium their home game. I'm not worried about home field advantage. So I'm resting half my starters like Jahan Dotson, Terry McLaurin, the weapons. I'm keeping Sam in there, though, because you got more experience, the better.
Mm-hmm.
We beat them on Thanksgiving, had some turkey.
Mm-hmm.
They need the spot more than we do. We lose. We're 11-6. No matter what, we're making the playoffs, whether it's a wild card or hosting a game. We're in there. That's all that matters. 11-6. We live to see another day.
Nice.
All right. Making the playoffs there. I'm kind of on the fence here. I'm also in a pickle of a situation. Looking at this schedule, just kind of spitballing. Okay. I was thinking this could be a 9-8 team.
Mm-hmm.
Currently have them at 9-7.
See, you can't do that. You can't do that to try and match your prediction.
I'm going to go with my boy Sam Howell, though, and let's roll them boys.
Let's roll them
Washington's going to finish the season on a W. Even though I think 9-8 is probably more realistic, I'm not going to go against our team here at home against Dallas a year after Washington beat them when they were trying to play for some position and had something to play for. We beat them. Sam Howell beat them, and Sam Howell's beating them again. They will finish apparently now with 10 victories, which is not something they do very often.
No, I haven't seen it.
So you haven't seen 11. Right, you've seen 10.
Yeah, RG3 10.
Yeah, you haven't seen 11 though.
So that's the breakdown I have then. So there's probably a game in there I would want to switch, but gonna stick with it for now. This is how I think the season's gonna roll out and
pretty much
playoffs.
Stoner is shooting to get a quarterback in next year's draft is what pretty much he's looking at this season to be.
You got to remember he doesn't have a whole lot of faith in Sam Howell.
I know.
And Jacoby Brissett hasn't had a winning record as a QB, so it's just
you know who else doesn't have a lot of faith? Everybody outside of Washington fans. Nobody has faith in Sam Howell.
Well, how
should it's not just me. It's not like I'm some outlier.
You are wrong, by the way. There are plenty of people out there who like it. JT Sullivan was very high on him, still is. Matt Miller, even for the Colt McCoy comments, likes him. There was somebody I saw today that's telling people buy stock in Sam Howell. I can't remember the name off the top of my head.
Dan Orlovsky likes Dan
Orlovsky. Kate Adams was just like, they're on board and you got to get on board. Like, come on, Stoner, get away with this.
If you look at the way too early lines, the betting lines, Washington is favored in 2 games.
Yep.
Arizona and
6.5, by the way, is the over-under, which we all went over.
Yeah, the 6.5 is about what every single book has them for wins this year. So it's not like I'm sitting there poo-pooing them saying I'm going against the trend. I'm kind of going with the trend on this. You guys are going against the trend. You guys need to look in the mirror and say, what am I doing?
Just remember, I had them in my head at 9-8. I just, as we went down through the games, it didn't end up that way.
Yeah.
But I think 9-8 is more realistic than 10-7. But 9-8, maybe just outside the playoffs or in playoff contention, but it's going to be an interesting season. I think it's going to be a hard season. I think there's going to be parts where people are going to call for Sam Howell to be benched. And I think that there's going to be the call for, especially early on in the season where in my situation, I had him at 1-3 and people are going to be like, well, fire Ron, but EB as the interim head coach and see what you got. But I think that they stick through it this year, and then we might see some upheaval next year.
I like it. 7-9-1 for me. Trev 11-6. Nathan at 10-7. We'll see who is more correct. I like my odds better than your odds.
Well, we will be doing some more live discussion as we always do on Wednesday at 7:30. So be sure to check us out there. And until next time,
let's go get some dubs.
Be a fan.